Can someone run over like really close?
That's a UFO.
It's just hovering in place.
For nearly a month now, strange drones have been spotted swarming over New Jersey and other states across the U.S. The scary thing is that the military has not taken one solid action about it.
We're investigating, but I don't have an answer of who's responsible for that, of one or more people that are responsible for those drone flights.
The public is being kept in the dark with zero explanations and no updates, not even a hint of reassurance. And yes, the military has no explanation even for the president.
I don't believe that the United States of America, with its military capabilities, does not know what these objects are.
So what are these mysterious flying objects? Are they so dangerous that no one dares to tell us the truth? Or is it just too big for them to cover up? Where have the drones been spotted? Before looking into the wild theories or secret explanations about these drone sightings, let's focus on the facts. Where exactly have these drones been spotted? Because when you connect the dots, the pattern starts to look unsettling. First, New Jersey. Since November 18th, dozens of drones have been reported over the state. Not just random places, though. These drones were seen near Picatinny Arsenal, which is a sensitive military research facility. Let that sink in for a second. This is not a park or a neighborhood, it is a high-security site. And if that was not enough, drones were also sighted near Donald Trump's golf course in Bedminster. The Federal Aviation Administration responded quickly and issued temporary flight restrictions over these areas. But we all know these drones do not care about FAA rules, so that is not going to help. Then there is New York. On December 12th, drones were reported flying over the Bronx. Not long after, Stewart Airfield in New York State had to shut down for an hour on December 13th due to drone activity. That's an airfield, a highly controlled space. Governor Kathy Hochul herself confirmed it, and yet no one has come forward to explain why or how these drones were there. In Connecticut, police confirmed suspicious drone activity near Groton and New London. A detection system was installed there to track these drones. This means the authorities are more than a little concerned, but they have not come up with an explanation yet. It is not just in Connecticut, though. Similar concerns are spreading to Maryland, where former Governor Larry Hogan reported seeing dozens of drones near his home in Davidsonville. Massachusetts had its own crazy incident. 2 men were arrested on December 14th for a hazardous drone operation. It happened near Logan International Airport in Boston. What exactly were they doing that was so dangerous? Authorities are not saying much, which only makes this situation more mysterious. But the sightings are not limited to civilian areas. In October, drones were seen near military facilities in Virginia for 17 days straight. And in December, drones were also reported near Ramstein U.S. military air base in Germany and 3 air bases in the UK. So what do we have here? Drones near military bases, airports, and high-profile locations. The pattern is not random. It seems like it is very much calculated. Whatever is happening, it is deliberate, and it is way too organized to ignore. What explanations have we been given? Have the officials released any statements yet? The absurd explanations. The explanations given for these drone sightings are, to put it lightly, confusing and not very convincing. Officials seem to be brushing off the reports, calling them harmless, and saying there is no threat to public safety. But if that's the case, why are drones flying in strange, coordinated patterns around sensitive sites like military bases and government facilities? Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas suggested that there has been a recent change in drone laws which allows nighttime flying. He said that this might explain the rise in sightings, but that does not account for drones behaving in such a coordinated, deliberate manner, especially near military bases and other high-security areas. Some officials have gone as far as saying the sightings are nothing unusual. Representative Jim Himes from Connecticut stated that most reports are of normal aircraft, hobbyist drones, or even misidentified objects like stars. Yes, stars. It is hard to believe someone could confuse a stationary celestial object with drones flying in synchronized patterns. There has also been speculation about who might be responsible. While authorities insist there is no foreign involvement, some, like Representative Jeff Van Drew, have presented wild theories. He said that it might be an Iranian mothership operating off the Atlantic. Others, like the Illinois representative, hinted at the possibility of Chinese involvement. Still, none of this has been backed by solid evidence, which is confusing the public even more. And then there is that incident in California. A Chinese national was arrested for flying a drone over a Space Force base. Now, while this case does not seem connected to the drones spotted on the East Coast, it is definitely not helping calm the speculation. People are putting two and two together even if the math does not really add up. While investigators claim to be looking into the situation, their explanations don't add up. They say it is harmless, yet sensitive areas are being targeted. They claim it is illegal activity, but the behavior of these drones does not fit the profile of casual or lawful use. The more they try to explain it, the less believable it all sounds. In the meantime, the public is left to connect the dots themselves. When people were not given any explanation, they started investigating themselves, and some wild theories have come up. So, what did they find? The wild theories. Let's start with one of the most mind-bending theories about these mysterious drone sightings. John Ferguson is an aerospace expert and founder of Saxon Aerospace. Apparently, he is convinced these drones are not here to entertain or spook us. They are hunting for a missing Soviet-era nuclear warhead. That's right. Ferguson claims that after the Soviet Union collapsed, Ukraine misplaced some nukes, and now one of them might be hiding somewhere along the U.S. eastern coastline. Just picture that for a moment. A Cold War relic lying somewhere in the heart of America, waiting to unleash chaos. But it gets weirder. Ferguson believes these drones are equipped with specialized sensors that can detect radioactive material. He describes them as ultra-high-tech bloodhounds, which means they are silent, efficient, and frighteningly advanced. Instead of sniffing out truffles, they are searching for nuclear material that could rewrite global history. And Ferguson is not just throwing out random theories. He says he even spoke to someone who touched the alleged warhead. Now, before dismissing this as just another internet conspiracy, let's rewind to 2019 when similar drone swarms were reported over Colorado and Nebraska. Back then, there were rumors that those drones too were sniffing out missing radioactive material. Could this be just a coincidence? Maybe. But when you start connecting the dots, it feels more like a pattern than a fluke. The government, of course, is not saying much. Officials insist there is no threat, but when was the last time those words actually calmed anyone down? The drone's strange behavior, like flying in coordinated swarms, operating mostly at night, and targeting sensitive areas, hardly feels harmless. Local residents are understandably rattled, wondering if they should be worried about something catastrophic. This is where the theories start multiplying. Some believe these drones are part of a psyop, which means it is a calculated move to scare the public and push for stricter counter-drone laws. Others think it is a classic case of the government knowing what's happening, but deciding that we, the public, don't need to know. You can't handle the truth, as they say, and that silence only fuels the paranoia. New Jersey State Senator John Bramnick suggested the government is staying quiet because they are scared of how people might react. But honestly, are we really that fragile? If there is a misplaced nuclear warhead out there, wouldn't people rather know than live in blissful ignorance? The idea of a smuggled nuke sitting on U.S. soil feels like a bad action movie. Yet here we are, wondering if it is actually happening. Then there is Joe Rogan, who could not resist adding his voice to the conversation. He admitted that this theory genuinely scares him, and let's be real, when Joe Rogan is concerned, it is hard not to feel a little uneasy yourself. Meanwhile, Jason Calacanis took things to an extreme by suggesting New Jersey be evacuated entirely. Like evacuating an entire state is so easy. If Jersey cleared out every time something weird happened, it would be an abandoned wasteland by now. Some people think that the military is experimenting with new technology, or maybe they are gathering intelligence. Others believe the drones are decoys designed to distract us from something much larger happening behind the scenes. And the scariest part is that no one seems to have a concrete answer. The government's vague reassurances only deepen the mystery. If these drones are harmless, they should not be showing up near sensitive military installations, nuclear sites, and high-security areas. If they're just hobbyists or commercial operators, there shouldn't be any coordinated movements and nighttime flights. None of it adds up. The idea of drones silently searching for a missing nuke or conducting covert surveillance sends shivers down your spine. Advanced machines quietly maneuvering through the skies, avoiding detection and targeting specific areas are unsettling enough. When we also have a lack of concrete answers from officials, the whole situation starts feeling like a nightmare. Take New York Governor Kathy Hochul, for example. She is ready to take a hardline stance as she has called for authorization to shoot these drones down. On the other hand, the Pentagon seems almost indifferent, as if saying, "Not ours, not our issue." The response or lack of one has been a frustrating game of passing the buck. Meanwhile, these drones continue their coordinated flights, raising more questions with every sighting. These are not your ordinary hobby drones. They have been reported hovering for hours, avoiding detection by traditional tracking systems, and even disappearing before anyone can get a clear look. We have had reports of these drones having trans-medium travel capabilities, which means they can move between air and water. This is not the kind of technology you pick up at your local electronics store. It is advanced, deliberate, and raises serious questions about who is behind it. For anyone familiar with Cold War-era fears, this situation has a strangely familiar tone. Stories like "The Sum of All Fears" come to mind. In this movie, a rogue nuclear weapon is smuggled into U.S. territory, which causes panic and potential conflict. It is not hard to imagine a similar scenario playing out now, except this time, there is no clear villain or hero. Instead, we have mysterious drones, vague government responses, and growing unease. The most plausible theory right now is that these drones are searching for a missing Soviet-era nuclear warhead, supposedly smuggled into the U.S. Because if we consider all the other theories, then the military would have given an official statement by now. But because this is so serious and Russia-related, they are afraid to announce anything to the public. The idea is so terrifying. A Cold War relic hidden somewhere along the eastern seaboard, waiting to be discovered or detonated. According to some experts, these drones are equipped with advanced sensors capable of detecting radioactive material, making them perfect tools for such a mission. The implications of finding such a warhead are massive. If this theory holds any truth, it could mean an immediate geopolitical crisis. Fingers would point to Russia, with claims that this is either an act of retaliation for U.S. support of Ukraine or a remnant of Cold War tensions. In such a scenario, it is easy to imagine how quickly the narrative could escalate into justification for military action. On the other hand, this could also be a calculated move to create fear and confusion. The drones don't have to find anything to achieve their purpose. The very suggestion that a nuclear weapon might be hidden on U.S. soil is enough to keep people on edge and divert attention from other pressing issues. Another possibility is that these drones are part of a more advanced surveillance operation. Their ability to avoid detection and operate in such a coordinated manner suggests a level of sophistication beyond what's commonly available. Whether they are being used by a foreign power or a domestic entity, their purpose might be to gather intelligence on critical infrastructure or test defenses against unmanned aerial threats. It is not just their capabilities that are concerning, it is the timing. The appearance of these drones coincides with escalating tensions between Russia and the West. With billions of dollars in military aid flowing to Ukraine, it is not hard to imagine these incidents being tied to the broader geopolitical chessboard. If these drones are connected to a larger strategy, they could be a message, a warning, or even a prelude to something more significant. Meanwhile, domestic lawmakers are taking notice. The officials have called for increased measures to counter unmanned aerial threats. Situations like this often become catalysts for new regulations, and it would not be surprising if this leads to stricter drone policies or expanded surveillance programs. The historical context only deepens the mystery. In 2019, similar drone sightings were reported in Colorado and Nebraska. Those incidents also started rumors of drones searching for radioactive material, creating a pattern that suggests these recent sightings might not be isolated events. Instead, they could be part of a larger, ongoing operation, one that stretches back years. And then there is the UFO connection. The advanced capabilities of these drones, especially the reports of transmedium travel, have drawn comparisons to unidentified aerial phenomena. The idea that these drones might not be entirely human-engineered is enough to send conspiracy theories into overdrive. Some researchers point out that mimicry, where unidentified objects resemble known aircraft, is a tactic often reported in UFO sightings. It is a way to draw attention without causing mass panic, a strategy that seems strangely relevant here. The lack of transparency from officials only adds to the unease. If these drones are harmless, someone should have provided a clear explanation, right? Now, if they are not harmless, why the silence? The ambiguity creates a vacuum that is quickly filled with speculation, fear, and theories. Some are plausible, some are too outlandish. At the center of this mystery is a big concern, the concern of having control. The skies, once seen as a safe and open space, are now a place where strange, unidentified machines roam freely. Whether these drones are searching for something, watching us, or testing limits, their presence shows just how vulnerable even the most secure countries can be. So how vulnerable is the U.S. right now? Do they have the power to stop these drones? Can we stop them? President-elect Trump seems to think the government must already know what's going on. He has even suggested that the public deserves the truth right now, or if not, that the drones should simply be shot down. Senator Richard Blumenthal from Connecticut is on the same page. He openly stated that drones should be taken down. But there is a big problem. Shooting down drones is illegal under current laws. No exceptions, even for situations like this. The New York governor pressed the federal government to let states take matters into their own hands. She said that she wanted more authority for local crackdowns, which could speed up action where the sightings are happening. On another front, the Senate Majority Leader has requested federal help in the form of advanced drone detection systems for New York and New Jersey. These systems could help pinpoint where the drones are coming from and maybe even figure out who is behind them. The FAA, for its part, has put out warnings to drone operators, saying that unsafe or illegal flying could lead to fines of up to $75,000 or even losing their drone licenses. But let's be real, if these drones are avoiding detection and operating under the radar, there is no way these fines can be enforced. Right now, it feels like everyone is waiting for someone else to take the lead. The drones keep flying, and the answers to stopping them are still up in the air, literally and figuratively. So what do you think is going on with these drone sightings? Is it a secret government project, foreign surveillance, or something we cannot even explain yet? Tell us your theory in the comments below, and if you are as curious as we are, hit that subscribe button. There is definitely more to uncover.